The Panther tank is one of the most famous armored fighting vehicles of World War II. It was intended to counter the Soviet T-34 medium tank and to replace the Panzer III and Panzer IV. The Panther proved to be effective in open country and long-range engagements. Although it had excellent firepower, protection and mobility, its reliability was less impressive. Key elements of the Panther design, such as its armor, transmission, and final drive, were simplifications made to improve production rates and address raw material shortages. A mild steel prototype of the design was produced by September 1942 and, after testing at Kummersdorf, was officially accepted. It was put into immediate production. The start of production was delayed, mainly because of a shortage of specialized machine tools needed for the machining of the hull. Finished tanks were produced in December and suffered from reliability problems as a result. The demand for this tank was so high that the manufacturing was soon expanded beyond MAN to include Daimler-Benz and the Maschinenfabrik Niedersachsen Hannover. The Maschinenfabrik Niedersachsen Hannover, or MNH, was a German defense industry company that operated in the city of Hanover. The MNH was one of the 9 leading tank companies that had a production share of 90% of fully assembled tanks in 1943. The MNH manufactured 30% of the 6,000 Panthers produced between 1943 and 1945. The MNH was founded in the spring of 1939, a few months before the start of the Second World War. In 1944 it was the 6th largest arms company in Hanover with 3,383 employees. From early 1944 the factory starts to produce Hunting Panther tank destroyers as well. A total of 413 Jagdpanthers were produced from January 1944 by 3 manufacturers. MIAG in Braunschweig produced 268 from January 1944 until the end of the war. Maschinenfabrik Niedersachsen Hannover produced 112 from November 1944, and Maschinenbau und Bahnbedarf in Potsdam produced 33 vehicles from December 1944. Planned production was between 100 and 200 a month, but the disruption to German manufacturing made this goal unachievable. Initially, production took place at 2 locations in Lötzen and in the Hanover district of Linden. In 1944, a factory was also built in an underground mine in Ahlem, which produced components for tanks, aircraft and. From November 1944, forced laborers had to expand the corridors in the existing asphalt tunnels provided for this purpose under the most difficult working conditions. Of the total of 1,500 forced laborers, around 750 died by April 1945. After severe destruction in the air raids on Hanover in March 1945, tank production was stopped. The Linden factory was taken by the 9th U.S. Army on April 10, 1945 during the liberation of Hanover. It continued to be operated by the British occupying forces. Partially completed tanks were continued to be built for them. The last production Jagdpanthers were produced at the factory by German staff just after the end of World War II under the supervision of the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers during the American and British occupation of Germany. 9 Panthers and a dozen Jagdpanthers were produced, then shipped to England for evaluation. A complete Panther and a complete Jagdpanther produced this way are displayed at the Bovington Tank Museum, Dorset, with brass plates on them explaining their history. In 1947 the Linden factory was dismantled. The Lötzen plant was continued by the British until 1957. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and to make sure you don't miss my future work, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and press the bell notification button. Thank you and see you in the next video.